working well off of like splitting some of these ideas is like a fun little uh, duo that has once worked together, and then
Yeah.
both are very good on Vertigo. And then Anubis coming up next, like you said, it just feels like all of these opportunities here. When I talk about like what Brett feels comfortable on in the early stages, like you can get very active. Like an Opera looks a lot more effective for the side of Slump as well in this map. So pretty excited to see the opening stages of this game, and see how Fluffy Aimers are able to do, given again a little bit of instability being a slight problem here.
Yeah, instability for maybe both of these teams to be shown. I want to see just how much we can expect in terms of, consecutive rounds, turnovers, conversions, these things that we have recently seen, at least I have recently seen, not necessarily in the North American CCT brackets, not really able to be brought through with good and kind ways of play. I think North America probably one of the more volatile, but even still, Europe no strangers to not being able to really look your same and look your best in each of these sorts of tournaments. I think you go event to event, and it's almost like, what version of this team are we going to see now? And not only that in terms of the game plan, but also in terms of the roster in North America, as it plainly sees in the playoff bracket. We've seen almost, I think, 3, 4, maybe even 5 teams play with a different player or a sub of some capacity, which always is a difficulty, but also not that great of a look.
Yeah, I would like to know, what the goal is, because obviously you've got like roster rules and stuff like that. So maybe there is a long-term vision for this Fluffy Aimers squad to play with Call Me Sue. I'm pretty sure like that first game that they played in the NA Revival was, with A, because they couldn't quite,
Right.
swing the position there, get Call Me Sue into the matchup, and then Call Me Sue came in, who I thought was going to be their long-term replacement, but still, I'm not sure what the news is. But yeah, I feel like I would like to see, for the most part, a team that is capable of causing big upsets versus bigger organizations. Uh, Kind of lock that down and come up with a decision there at some point. And I know they're probably in that same boat.
Yeah.
But for now, again, just like having the availability to plug and play now three different people in your last three best of threes that you've actually played out, I believe. I mean, I guess that's kind of an impressive feat.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I didn't really think about the organizational aspect of some of these moves as well. Like, it must be a little bit awkward when there's just so much scheduling that needs to be done for the players to obviously like have the time to get the tryouts in, get the timing into where these players aren't just effectively trying out in officials. You know what I mean? Which is also not really the easiest way of going about things, not really getting practice time in, the schedule of being not only a player but a person, and being able to live your life around it, but also being in crunch time. It's the end of the season. You're going to be ripping out so many qualifiers as of recent for both ESEA, for Katowice, for CCT now, and officials as well. It's just kind of been one after another, including the Revival Cup as well, where fitting in time for things like that is just never really as simple as it seems.
Yeah, hop on in to the action though. We'll see what we're working with here in this matchup. It is like this. I mean, Lost 666 is just at least like that's Nightblade, right?
I'm 100%
Assuming.
sure it is, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm assuming as well. Been watching him quite a bit. Maybe he's going for a little rebrand that hasn't updated HLTV. Usually a little slow on that end, so interesting. We do got Magic getting some jump spotting in. Been a player I've quite liked to watch for this squad. I feel like he has some good impact for this Revenge Nation team, and want to see him show up today as well. As the pistol coming on through. Quick execution on in. Wolfie already starting it off here well for his squad. Figuring out a way to punch in those digits. A little bit exposed potentially, but they still lock it in nonetheless and take charge all the way through. Dominant on the pistol, not a single casualty, and even minimal damage taken there on that A play.
Off to what is one of the cleanest and quickest starts that we'll catch in this tournament so far, I will say. That was pretty wild. I wonder how they have to be feeling after it. Going into this one, Brett, obviously the kind of caller who is no slouch. He's going to be bringing ideas to the table and ensuring that they have a good enough line of calls behind mid-round is not left silent. Still yet to be seen how the reactionary plays of Revenge Nation are going to function in this one as the side hall swing from Jason alone is set packing. That's a little bit problematic, as that was the only player effectively in that direction that far scaled up, and now Brett needing to make exactly one of those maneuvers that I had mentioned just a moment ago. What's the move? It's towards the B site, and where smoke is up. Vision to regain soon, but Horizon's got another one to send out, but will he even be given the chance? DD will.
Smoke recycle. Still just working off that one news. Take some space. Great counter flashes though. For some fight back. That's a really tough lineup, and Slump gonna take all those names. Quick up against the pistols and the MP9s. Taking a lot of initiative here and handled nicely from Slump with a 4K, who's able to do a lot of that heavy lifting there. Give Fluffy Aimers up to that comfortable 2-0. I've noticed, I don't know if this is what you see a lot with Vertigo nowadays, but teams are just stacking the B side a lot more on the CT side. I think it's just necessary. Also on that T side, you're seeing a lot more executions, but that B side has become prime real estate nowadays.
Yeah, well, the reason for that now is just that the A site used to be where you kind of had to play for retake pretty consistently, right? But now you have to play your retake almost 100% of the time following the opening first 15 to 20 seconds of a round. And kind of being useless, I guess, a little bit with CTs B if they weren't otherwise stacking up mid or B. I've seen a lot of teams do kind of like a one mid slash B, 1B, 1A, and then one floating. If they're not taking a ramp early or peeking with the op, they sometimes even just do 2-2-1, which is like, I'm a decent fan of, but I'm not a fan of the fact that the A site is as hands-off as it is. I think that it's kind of a frustrating way of watching a game, and as a player playing the game, when you have to just sit all the way back at elevator holding for the side hall walk up and all the way back at CT/headshot for the ramp walk up, it gets a little annoying.
Map's gotten so challenging. Look at the tough situation with the bomb, but yeah, it's also just hard as a T. Like, it's rough on both ends when you have to plant the bomb as well and risk constant spam going your way. Like, if you don't have smokes down and full control of everything in the map, you're constantly putting your life at risk trying to punch in the digits, which I feel like is also another frustrating fact for the T side. So it's like a lose-lose almost for both camps of what feels like control being lost and taken away from you in a game, which I think is why this map has taken a drastic downturn. People, I think, are only playing it. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I really feel like people are only playing it as a means to, you know, pull off upsets. You think about some of the players that are playing things out, and some of the good teams on Vertigo, and they are extremity rosters. They're the complexities of the world. They're NIPs.
Curious if they get to that point of mid and it's still a walk. A shift by a MAC-10. It ends up still getting them into the bomb site in some capacity as the mid-crunch pans out for a pair of frags 3v3, but the op of Tavin is posted and ready for a very tight angle deep in towards the site in which Brett is caught off guard before the smoke had bloomed, and that's certainly going to send them in. No, goodbye, Slump. And Wolfie is stuck between a rock and a hard place. He'll be able to get this one for free. Nothing going to stop him. And dropping onto the floor, Magic's not going to be able to reset his accuracy in time, and Wolfie with not enough ammo into the gun. He's got so many kills, but no clutch. He tries his best, and sometimes your best just simply isn't enough. Fluffy Aimers, while they've got 3 rounds about them, that one that they let slip is still extraordinarily expensive for their opponents, not to mention the bomb plan afforded just to go along with it. Icing on the cake, Exner.
Another bad way to pull that one back into your camp there for the CT side. That does lose control. It makes it very pricey though for Fluffy Aimers. They're going to put a real challenge onto CT side, I think, very early on, and look to gain some control in the opening stages. Wolfie gives it one hell of a go here, playing underneath them. Smart positioning. Tried his luck. Couldn't quite seal it on in. We'll get a bit of a tech after this one, but I mean the pressure's right back on for Revenge Nation. They got to get things rolling on the CT side.
Slump touted as like the next big thing in North American opping. Kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. I got to cast him I think it was the last CCT North American circuit, not the first one, but regardless, seeing his name in an HLTV bracket, I was like, okay, this kid is kind of farming, though. Like, jokes aside, this is a quote-unquote no-name team he was playing for. And bro made me a little bit of a believer, but at 18 years old, it's kind of weird how good he's doing. I believe he was the final form he was playing with.
Yeah, right. I mean, he just comes also from a region where there's not a lot of operas that are hot in the prospects, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll take it, man. It's been really exciting to see him grow, develop.
Oh my god. 32 kills, 8 deaths, 2.82 rating, and a 1.69 ADR count against Vibe last CCT. That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's proven what he's made of very quickly. Super impressed with that. You know, early activation from him. And now Wolfie just catching the saves. There's no way to get out of this one for Tabin either. He's gonna get boxed in, closed out on, and Fluffy Aimers right back to winning ways off of a single, you know, hiccup of a clutch missed opportunity. And with that extra damage, it's brutal territory now.
See the, you look at the camera of Brett in the beginning stages of these rounds. Bro is yapping. That's what we like to see. He's letting him know. I got to speak to him at Chicago. As often as I can, I like to kind of find out where he's at and what his thoughts are and what's going on. He's so far given me reason to believe both in conversation and in execution that things are going pretty well for him and the crew. You can catch now that even around like this, where it's just against just a couple of pistols, they've lost next to near nothing. Barely even any damage inflicted on any of these players. And a walkthrough into where I don't know how much in terms of time Revenge Nation are going to have to be able to rectify what's gone down. Money enough here, but it feels like it's been a lot of these rounds decided in the first like 45 to 50 seconds for the Fluffy Aimers that have been won, and that's a dangerous prospect to say the least.
Yeah, they're pretty quickly establishing map control, and they really are using more prongs of the map than what is very common, I feel like, and comfortable for a lot of teams, and that's just B executes. They're taking space on A, they're taking mid control, and splitting that sometimes into B as well, so I feel like more so than anything, Revenge Nation at this point got to figure out a way to gather that control and hold on to space towards that A side early, hold on to mid quickly, and keep them away from that positions that they keep on finding themselves in. This ramp fight gonna mean a lot, and Slump already prepared. What? He no-scopes it? I think he on-zoomed, I guess, at the end of that. And it's somehow a no-scope. That is ridiculous. And if you're tabbing, you look at the kill feed, you can't believe your eyes. Perfect flashbang. Perfect peek off the back of it. But you walk into it and you cannot believe it. That's a brutal start to this one already.
Stop. Magic's gotten one a freebie, and it's gotten them into even footing to where Nightblade is not yet warded off from mid on a somewhat off angle. He's gotten another to make this one more realistic. And undiscovered is Horizon. It's going to be News without vision and time to be able to trade. But behind him is Wolfie, who's already scaled up and past the default boxes, and a smoke for Nightblade ahead of him. He doesn't want to lose out onto his life before his teammates are back towards it. And he's actually managed to line up a shot even over the top side of the smoke. It's Wolfie, who somehow gives up his position, but not in his own right gives up the round. That was a unilateral effort from the Revenge Nation squad to get to that point. And honest and truthfully, I like to see the confidence coming out from those players more so than anything else in their hold. It didn't look like they needed to hesitate in running in one direction or the other. They didn't really fumble over themselves or their teammates. And that's the kind of conviction in rounds where things aren't looking all that great you need.
Stick to their guns there on the setup. Got all bases covered. They hold down the line here. Oh, that's no good. Not sure what happened there. I would assume the worst. I'm hoping I'm hoping he was going for some jiggling or something, and I don't know what happened. But it's a weird place to start around, and it just ends it pretty quickly from this point. I'm just gonna transition on in. They gotta be a little careful before they start hunting too aggressive, because now it's 3v2 and you're still fighting. Kevin getting swung. He's got the right idea. Now they can just win the round here potentially. Now they can actually pull a retake off. They still got to flush out Brett.
Oh, please,
Shots
God.
are so close.
Brett's fearing for his life in that moment. They don't want to go for it any further beyond that much, though, as maybe a shot into the dark would have sent them hunting, sent them running through in hopes of getting multiple rounds in connection to one another. Not yet. Not yet. Fluffy Aimer's already closing out this half with a tie at minimum. Wolfie 13-3, and honestly, I didn't even realize that much. He's been like device silent 30 bombing. And on a T side, taking a lead in this map in particular gives you a lot of breathing room moving down the final stretch, as it is a T-sided map in general. Logically speaking, you're going to want that 7-5 at minimum, but even so, I think this is, I forget who I had this conversation with, one of those maps where you can't really define it as a CT or T-sided map definitively, where it's like, oh, well, they didn't get enough rounds, they can't win. No, I think it's very realistic that you can say that we're a better CT-sided Vertigo team than a T-sided Vertigo team, but...
Yeah, I've seen both here in like terms of teams with a lot of comfort, a lot of strength on T sides, get those decisive calls rolling, and you can build up some very strong positions. I do feel like, and this is just a gut feeling from what I've seen a lot out of Vertigo, and this doesn't always, play out in what happens in the server, but for some reason it's just like, again, the CT side, with how you can now split your resources less towards the A side and get away with it because of how many different options you have to play, how many different positions you have to clear for Ts.
Yeah.
I feel like it's easier for CTs to win.
I'm a little shocked it's not more CT-sided than it actually is.
I think it's like, with quick rotations on this map, it's like should be bordering, what we used to see from like Nuke and stuff, where it's just like it should be dominant. I think it should be one-sided for CTs, and that's not always the case. I see it sometimes, and I can completely understand when a T side just gets locked out of a half and can't recover.
Yeah. It's always a pretty bitter pill to have to swallow when you feel like you're just getting shut out by the utility, or just stupid aggression coming out from the ramp. And even though they don't do it instantly, even though they don't do it right off of the rip, Revenge Nation do look like they want to go back in for a little bit of a peak slump. He's going to be awaiting it. The op versus op in relation to patience. This dude's actually eating way too much damage for what he would have wanted to, but even then, goes out for a refight, does not waver, sucks in his gut, puffs up his chest, finds himself to be the bigger beast in mid for that moment to find them an opener with just under a minute onto the clock. Decision time. Where are we going? What's the final plan? Phase 3, if you will, is the part of the round we're just about to enter. And Brett, I think he's just going to put a pin on it if he just gets that freebie. Clothesline. Goodbye, Evan, and goodbye, round, more likely than not.
He's constantly talking as well. You can see
Yeah.
He's talking mad frequent right there as he's finding these kills as well. Impressive stuff. That's calling the shots while you're getting kills in middle. That's fantastic work. And now Q's up for a pretty quick play. An A-side finish out in the open. Magic in hot water. And it's Jason who swings through the smoke. Wolfie will catch the last as well. And
That was absurd.
it's incredibly well handled by Wolfie in the end. 14-3 for him, as we said. You know, he might have had a big shoes to fill here, hopping on into this squad for what Call Me Sue did just a couple days ago versus NRG, but
Yeah.
14-3 is a good way to fill those shoes.
Call me shoes. I was about to say, call me Sue.
He's got big Call Me shoes to fill.
He posted to Twitter, like after that game, he was like, "Yeah, I'm LFT again." Like basically, like I'm back. Like after the game, and I was like, I guess he was just subbing then. I was actually kind of hoping he would start to have the offers flood in. I mean, that wild card trial he had, he looked good. I guess something just not really.
Well, he had to go back to China for
Oh, is that what it was?
I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly don't know. It was just a Desk 2 article that came out that the trial was kind of over because of that fact.
That stinks. He
Yeah.
is very good though.
It's nuts, man.
I thought him and Slump in the same team would have been like money farm. Like they could just like pawn those two off. Like once North America comes knocking, you answer.
Yeah. Get him on some sort of organization, right? I mean, got a couple of different options, hoping for more in the future as well.
Yeah. I want to see another one of those like M80 type projects. You know what I mean? 1.5.
Boss are currently
Exports.
unsigned and at the RMR.
That's true.
There's another final form player coming out the woodworks as well.
Fruit Cup. I wonder if they have like a. I wonder what the organization of Final Form and their involvement in like recruiting process and things of that nature is. Because the Fruit Cup was already a pre-established player in that team they had signed. Slump. I don't know what the status of the team that he was on at that point was. It was like a Cyprus team. It's a name I haven't actually seen in a minute. I don't know where he went, but
I feel like I casted him relatively recent.
okay.
Don't remember where, but I feel it.
Don't know where, don't know when. 8-2 is just a cakewalk for them to play through at this point, Fluffy Aimers. Getting into this best of 3 very, very fast, very hot. They enter the chamber and they leave it with some speed in which rips through the Kevlar that Revenge Nation look to wear as they do go into that next map. Better have a pretty good game plan about it, because another one of those maps where a T-side start for the Fluffy Aimers looking as good as it has on Vertigo, that does not really spell all that much in terms of a victory for Revenge Nation. Anubis is where they're going to be playing on their next offensive. But at least they've got something to breathe with in this round.
I look like they could stabilize a little bit here. Give them more. Lean on. Couple of quick kills roll on through for the CT side. They win out on some of the opening duels. Like this boost. They love this boost even.
Bang.
And Jason identifying that they have taken quite the liking to that boost. We'll give him one. Send him packing. Who's not really in a chance to clutch this one up. Magic was flanking all the while. There wasn't a span that was going through the smoke. Magic to secure it. Revenge Nation get themselves up to 3 here. Start to fight forward in this matchup.
They've got some say in how this one will finish out. Bottom side of those steps where so many bodies will remain. burial for the whole crew. 1 round back for the ends of the half. Fourth, certainly inspire me just a little bit more beyond that much. As News is fully blind under the kill for Evan, it looked like, but Magic, he regains vision back before the first flash had popped. He had at least spotted them out for a second and running it in. This guy doesn't quit. He wants more, further beyond even that much, sending a shot to the shoulder of Horizon, put down after what was a perfect round from him, though. Not much really else to be said about that one, though. It's going to have to be the clutch of a lifetime for Horizon as he just made his way back. And again, maybe I'll say 7 of the 9 rounds from the Fluffy Aimers, to harp back to a point I was making just a bit ago, were decided in the first 45 seconds of the round, and that's another instance of that.
Dude, look. Decisive as can be. Just getting away with some map control. I mean, even in one of those rounds that they lost as well, just like that opening duel from Slump, it was a 4v5 that Fluffy or Revenge Nation had to recover from, so there's a bit of difficulties here on Vertigo. It should be expected that we see some struggles on Verti for this squad, but more so I'm impressed with the amount of strength with the blow past of the lookout of this roster, and Brett would give up on the fight there, goes for a re-peek and knocks out P250. That was Raid Boss. He was hoping for that exact fight, but a USP can sing right back in return. And that USP continues to fight. You got a little smile on his face there as he goes for more. Oh my god, he can't believe it. Look at his face. Every kill he lights up. Flashbang's perfect. He wants his ace. Going, get it, Brett. My god. That is disgusting right there from Brett. He claims the whole entire ramp, which is a little help of one cheeky flashbang. Dude, every kill he got, I just like, the smile got bigger and bigger. It's so heartwarming right there.
Yeah. Looking to contest with Wolfie at this point. He's like, my turn.
I just get to have fun with it after a round like that too, man. I mean, again, I was really impressed with this guy's calling ability. At such a quick turnaround for him. Even that, I mean, of having to step into this role here, that I feel like could have been challenging. Having to bring in just constant plug and play players here, figuring out what this 5th is going to be.
Yeah.
And still just having so much success. Super impressive. And then while he's calling in some of these rounds, still finding kills to back it up.
And then News is not, he's not a long-standing player either. He's also kind of just recently finding his footing in form. Brett has played with him before, though, all things considered, so we'll say that much. He has an understanding of how he likes to operate, but with that pistol round win, with the conversion being as quickly as and cleanly as it was there, it's just more of the same. Time and time again. Fluffy Aimers looks are deceiving, although they may look cute and cuddly with that weapon in their hand, though they are deadly. Little AK-47. Don't judge a book by its cover. It's the bonus round with 2 SMGs, though, and where they want to get another early stance in their favor for map control to go along with. And Wolfie and News are just going to pop through this smoke with a flash to the left and to the right. It's Jason and Brett who are actually dumpstered on every other angle. And although they do have B main, and although they have gotten this close to maybe retrieving even a weapon to utilize, there it is. I don't think it's really going to be that easy of a recovery unless Revenge Nation take their sweet time. He's like, please don't tell me stream was watching that.
Unfortunate. He didn't say anything either. He was just like fumbling with the movement. But again, as long as no one's watching, hoping you could get away with it. I'm gonna stick around here. I feel like that's not gonna be the case though for too long. Bonus round gonna be ripped away, but I think with the weapons that are saved, you're gonna see Fluffy Aimers come out back with an even stronger buy off the back of this.
Information from the Twitch chat from Fish the Husky himself. Wolfie's on trial. A is returned to the coaching role.
Okay.
Not a bad trial, I'll tell you right now, in terms of both what I would have come to expect from a trial of his caliber and also what he's done right now.
Does he lose for fluffing the movement there?
Oof. How many points do you think he's had so far? If I had to take points away from that,
I think he's in the positive right now. On like a 10-point scale, I'd give him a 9.
9, okay. I'd take 1 point away.
I think this is his first map that he's played because in ECL they're still playing with A.
It is, yeah.
So
I'll take 1 point away from that move. No, half a point. We'll say half a point away.
Yeah, I was gonna say half a point is fair.
8.5. The whole point. It's a little much. I take it back. But he wants to go through the smoke again. There's a molly there. He's got a DFP9 and a plasma teammate. It worked once, but don't get too overzealous in these rounds. This game is not yet done. You aren't on map point. News forfeits the B site in its entirety with a teammate now making his way back into it, or at least close enough in that direction with Slump on the A1S. No op yet. And over in that direction, it's a mid clean and clear. No lurk to try and play. Spoiler to them. Slump's tucked. He's holding the wall. He's hugging it. He's actually going to swing out wide with Brett's flashbang to support, but not more than that. Jason's nade denies the plant to get over and through to the site, but a swing from News in the 3 versus 3 before the C4 has made its way on a default. Actually calls everything down, and Evan not lurking through mid, but instead through A, keeps them boxed and keeps Revenge Nation with 1. Make it now 2 more rounds actually to go with.
Well handled right there, man. Smart CS being played out. Finding that flank, starting things off well with the opening. Closing things out quickly thereafter. Sealing the deal, locking in. 5th round. Fighting back here for the most part for Revenge Nation. I feel like impressively enough. Wolfie, though, I think he's just slipped a gap. Pretty big one. He's in ladder. Brett's baited in for him as well to succeed, so see how much he can get out of this position, or how diligent you got Nightblade being. Oh, and he loses a teammate before.
Yeah.
Juggling the guns now. Wolfie gonna look to toss that one over to his teammate. Would have been nice to have Brett still kicking if it was just Wolfie making that move, but now I think at this point, well, you got a flashbang, you got a couple rifles. You don't have to call the save just yet, but this flash has to be really well placed. We'll see how strong the target is. Horizon not caught by it at all. Clotheslining these CTs on the inbound. Quick kills. An easy conversion. Magic. We'll find one around the smoke as well. And he's trying to sort his way through this one. It gets blasted by some spam as well.
Round by round, you got to keep your head into the game, and right now Revenge Nation definitely not far from being able to pull something off that's pretty special. It's the push and pull, it's the give and the take you need now to get Slump that AWP to where, while one player is budgeted to make that happen, the rest relegated to MP9s as a result, but that is a worthwhile investment return on already. Evan being swept aside. This goes quiet for Revenge Nation, not popping flashes, nades, and mollies up through the ramp to try and get there. They at least read into the fact that following the kill, he might have played a more passive hold, and with 2 there, both weapons made known. The A site is stacked up.
Slump has one hand on his eyes right now. Like he was falling asleep at the wheel, but you gotta lock in now. His eyes pressed to the glass right now for success. Tabin instead gonna rip it away and equalize, containing the side all control as a solo player as well, alone on A, left to his own devices, still being able to influence the round despite that fact. Playing so smart, diving back in, ducking around these angles, and we'll see if Wolfie can continue to make that case. Quick kills roll on through. He's looking sharp on this B side, and now they get a little desperate to try and recover. And it's too little too late. Trying to play around that smoke, and Wolfie anticipated it. He has to wait to grab that AK. He'll find it eventually. As the patience plays off for Wolfie, and Fluffy Aimers will lock themselves in a 12th round here. Map point and 6 of them.
Six map points is hard to come by, but also hard to break through, and News is a madman. I cannot believe that was the call. He's fully moving, spraying amidst the smoke in which he had jumped down to the bottom of the B steps, typically Wolfie on an SMG this time. Trading rolls, and Wolfie's still near enough by to where Magic is aware of that fact and sends shots in their direction in hopes of finding a free one, hopes of finding not only a man advantage, but a B-bomb site weakened to where a call might be easier to make. It's Jason who jiggles atop, and Wolfie who still sticks by down low. I wonder if they're going to go in later on.
Threat of a kill there, and Revenge Nation know how to still stay alive here, fighting back and forth. 2v4 now to continue to fight forward. Execution, the utility into the double up is a bit of a risk. We'll see if they get punished as Jason steps out for a quick kill. Missed op shot as well. They want to brute force their way into this round. They might be in for a rude awakening as Jason and Brett swing in unison, and now the 2v4 turns into a 1v2 all of a sudden. Complete turnaround. It's Nightblade that finds himself in a clutch that he has to close. Has to save his squad versus the leader here of Fluffy Aimers. Time's running a little bit low. It has to be a B-side finish. He has to walk into Brett. There's no secret about it. Brett here on the scene. Smoke will go in. Not going to provide him a lot of coverage. He's still playing back a default. He's hiding so effectively and swings out for the finishing blow. It's Brett, a safe pair of hands to close this thing out for Fluffy Aimers, and they do it in confident fashion on their map pick.
Doesn't get much better than that, does it? It is a beautiful closer to the beginnings of this best of 3 in the round of 16. It is absolute tenacity in which the Fluffy Aimers come out swinging, heavy hitting, and Wolfie, trial man, brand new, is absolutely killing it at this point, in which I think that if we go into this next map onto the T side of Anubis, if they have that same speed, how they've been claiming some of these rounds and how quickly it was decided, I don't really know what you can say if you're Revenge Nation to be able to shut them back in and out. It was Slump not even really needing to be a determining factor with the AWP on the CT or T sides. He was playing for like maybe an end of round kill on the op over on the T end, and on the CT side, one round we had seen him really make a huge level of impact happen with it, where he got a kill in the opening at the ramp. Other than that, it has been everything that we needed from the Riflers and more.
It has, I mean, super well placed from Slump. But even on the rifles, he was finding a lot of success there. Just kicked it off with such a confident start. You had Brett on the pistol finding an ace, which was absolutely ridiculous, looking as clean as can be. And then, again, just looking like he was having fun with it. So, again, I think there's just more to be excited about when you talk about this Fluffy Aimer squad. Looking this strong here as they head into what is going to be some tough matchups in the future. I think is a promising sign, and if they can continue to look this good throughout the series, they will get to those more difficult matches. So we're going to be tossing this one to a quick break as we're going to be leaning in on Anubis. We'll see if Revenge Nation can fight back. It's going to be their map pick coming up next.
Are you sick of just opening cases? Join the events! At each event, you can find special cases from which tokens fall. Tokens are your ticket into a world of unique awards. For tokens, you can buy a skin, premium, or special balance. Try your luck in the skin generator. Also, you can leave your tokens at the token vault. And the more tokens you keep, the better skin you'll get. Add variety to opening cases with Hellcase.
Do you have any unnecessary skins or want to sell them? Try SkinPlace. Visit the website, select the skins you want to use. Easily fill your Steam trade link. Make sure we offer good prices and choose a payment method. Hit the button and boom! Instant cash. Safety. Low commissions. Instant payouts. SkinPlace.
Skin Place launching an event with a total prize pool of $10,000 in honor of our first anniversary. Just sell skins, claim daily bonuses, complete missions, visit the shop, and participate in the main giveaway with popular skins and a powerful PC. Follow our social media to not miss.
And welcome back, everybody. We're going to be hopping on into another map here. It's going to be Anubis up next. We're going to hope to see a little fight back from Revenge Nation. I think they're capable of it, but what I just saw out of the Fluffy Aimers felt a little too much to handle for the best of teams, and I think that's what some of these upper echelon rosters have been facing as well.
Yeah, you talk about just like sheer numbers. I don't like being that guy, but I mean the numbers speak for themselves. 124 ADR, 21-9, 1.9 on HLTV. Wolfie was absolutely dumpstering in some of these aspects of the game that you would otherwise have expected a little bit better to come out from the side of Revenge Nation. Namely, on their CT side, I think Revenge Nation fell just a little bit flat. Wolfie was able to walk through them, consistently trade out multi-kills in where he was finding not one but two players on refrag to where there wasn't anything happening in between, and then even then, in some instances, being able to find whether it be a second kill following a trade or a third kill following a trade, which is just kind of insane to me, considering the fact that Revenge Nation got their choice of sides. They play this map at least enough to where you can expect them to put up a little bit of a buffer, right? But not really quite able to do that. It's not one of their best maps. In fact, it's just kind of one of the middling maps they have in general of their map pool that hasn't really been able to pull itself together in recent times. They've been facing up against, how you mentioned, teams like Nouns, M80, Legacy, getting outclassed. And I think, obviously, while that is expected, I think just how deep they get outclassed by those teams, even as well as by Wildcard and Timberman, where they're only accumulating like 3 to 5 rounds on average. It's kind of awkward.
I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge here, struggling to show some good results for this side of Revenge Nation, but maybe they found something that they look to kind of press upon. Teams such as on the other side of things, like teams that Fluffy Aimers have played, such as NRG recently, were able to kind of break them down, super effectively. But that is NRG, right? And that's a tough thing to replicate. You have to have the individuals on that same level, and that's not the case for Revenge Nation. But I hope to see, for such a map pick that maybe you're not leaning in on your particular strengths, them show up and come through with a clear game plan.
Hey, main, Wolfie at the lead. He's going first now, so see what he's capable of when Nightblade is able to at least get his. It's a second where he just continues to peek back and forth, up and down across the broken wall. He's gotten them what they need in order to be competitive into this round and potentially into this map if they can keep their money up. But a 1v2 for Jason that can be no longer played for as around the cake. He can't quite escape. It's the line of sights of Horizon, who he combines with Lost to be able to find all 5. Very, very well done. Pistol round play there where the A-hold itself is what gets it across the line before the bomb is even planted. Money into the pockets of Fluffy Aimers, though. I wonder what their next move is. Do not listen to the HUD. The HUD is backwards, boys and girls. It's fixed itself now. Voila.
It's magic.
Ah, I get it. Because
Zing!
Because he... Bazinga. Zing is crazy. I gotta start using that. Somebody says like the most like rude roast I've ever heard. Zing! It's like that's like terrible. Like one of the meanest things anyone's ever said. Zing!
You just got zinged.
Got him. 3 Galils actually brought out into this one. It's interesting that they managed to get that much, but they're just about equal with their opponents. It's just the AKs missing and the A4s that are in hand, which are a little bit stronger, but even still, I'll say that they're not out of danger. A retake going to be extraordinarily difficult for Revenge Nation if they need to go in for one, if they continue to use the utility that they've got on their belts at this rate.
That's what they're hoping for. Very comfortable start to this one. They lose the A prong without any troubles. Now they have to rely on the mid side of things to work, but they have to figure out a way to take this space back. And Jason and Wolfie can't quite coordinate their efforts. It will be Slump and Wolfie that do. But it's just going to be on Jason's shoulders in a clutch attempt. They're making it happen a little bit here or there, but not going to be the case. The question is, I mean, I feel like they might have done enough to maybe line in another force buy here.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I would. Another 3 kills, another bomb plant. The sooner you break RN, the sooner you get into your T-half with some serious rounds. But you could also just afford to go with pistols and armor and like a flash or 2 and probably be just about as competitive, or at least be about as expensive. But no, they want it, and they want it now. Brett's calling the audible, as how these rounds have transpired has afforded them this much to get an AK-47, and Khalil's onto the rest. It's going to be entrusted into the hands of Jason, the ever-capable. And he's going to have to be. Horizon doing his job and more at A main in the last round to be able to shut down anyone coming from that path. It's from mid that they were gapped just a bit, so I do like the fact that actually Fluffy Aimers are going to look to maybe take control of that now in this round, but cycling smoke after smoke, that's just practically a minute left onto it before they even get through. Or not.
Spam, I think, really baiting out. Having to swing into that corner. A little lackadaisical, expecting that smoke to still be safe passage. And now, this time around, a whole lot more to do for Horizon with less weaponry. Well, Slump does return. Back there, and Horizon does hold down the line. He wins the one duel he had to claim A main, and taking advantage off the back of it. Got a little greedy, I would say, in the mix, and now their advantage is lost, and Brett goes solo into 3 players around the corner, so this is going to be a little sour towards the tail end, and it breaks down from that point forward. A 4v5 with only a single defender around A into a 1 or 0v4 at the end of the day, and a lot of damage done for sure, a lot of kills that could have been close, but none of them converted. Instead, it's Revenge Nation that pieced that round up together, and it looks like they're coming through with a good game plan here, or at least enough firepower to match what's being put at them.
Yeah, it's looking like a map pick. It's looking like they're exactly where they want to be. They can say at least now that with a smile they've gotten not only a lead, but on the less favored of the two sides. It's where Fluffy Aimers weren't giving them an inch on their offensive in the last and the high rise. It's night and day. Whereas obviously Fluffy Aimers not yet having had a full buy, really. They've just been putting together whatever they can, and little by little, loss bonus growing exponentially into this one, where they find themselves with the best they've had in quite some time. Even still, really don't have all that much even now. With 2 smokes and 1 flash, 1 AG, it's probably going to be just that B-pop split, and that's all you can really get afforded to you with this level of utility. So, E-box smoke, once that's gone, it's no information that's really been given over by the Fluffy Aimers to this point to where it'll be, an easy read, but they still have 3, a pretty standard hold into the B-bomb site that's going to be able to shut them down. Nobody blinded. And now through Slump and News have just got it all to do, and I don't think they're going to be able to make anything of this round. 4 kills for Lost. What in the heck?
10-1 at the moment. Dominating the story right now, dominating this east side hold. Doing it largely by himself, being able to again piece up these plays. Smokes down, trusting his teammates to have his back, has his own back in a certain sense, and lockdown defense on that B side has left Fluffy Aimers with 0 T rounds at the moment. Struggling just a tad out of the gates. We've got 3 players on 0 kills, and I think there's a bit of a reversal in what we saw from Vertigo to we're seeing right now. Still very early on, though. You expect for some of that firepower to show up here in return. Flashbangs traded back and forth. The conviction turning that corner. Tabin, though, in the setup here for Magic as well. They're ready with just about every facet. You're not ready on this A play, though. Explosive as can be. The Tech 9s will run him down. Deagle to back it up. But the rotations are so quick onto the scene. USB is out right there, and they're in a stare-down battle there, Magic and News. And Magic, fortunately, has that sidearm ready to go. Dang, look at Magic's background. Is he in the penthouse?
I don't know, dude.
It looks sick.
It does.
I'm jealous.
It kind of looks like my window on the outside with my penthouse that I'm in right now.
You just can't see it because the green screen blocks it. You've just been begging to let the green screen drop so you can show your
Oh no,
your
my
sick
green
flex.
screen fell and you see my yacht out my window.
Oh,
My penthouse
no.
window.
Oh no, my dog bumped my green screen.
Oh no, my Siberian Husky that was bred by sled dogs. Oh.
Purebred Siberian
Sled
Husky.
dog Siberian. Oh god. All good. Oh wow, News though. What an opener to be able to find. He has very minimal vision over the side of that smoke, and where he takes a tap through a shoulder is all that'll need to be seen. Plants the crosshair right to his head. And gets them now with a minute. The first man advantage I think they've had to work with that wasn't just them excelling into a bomb site in the entirety of this game so far, this map.
Finally got that early pickoff there from News. Offering up a little relief here for now. Although Horizon has been a thorn in their side. Those opening duels start things off. We got that mid-aggression rolling on through it. Now that you see Horizon here, it does maybe queue up some more activity. There you have it. A little bit of aggression. And yeah, I mean, nicely handled. Horizon just locking down this A and middle side at this point in time. He's got the fear god stuck into Fluffy Aimers at the moment. He's deciding who lives and who dies at the moment. Float, or it's gonna be Slump that makes us move forward. Horizon again gonna be next to bat there. Finally Slump able to put him to rest there. Slow things down a little bit. Wolfie will find one on the outro, but they don't know there's that late camera presence. It was called over. I think Evan saw that aggression coming through from Wolfie, but Wolfie never caught the aggression from middle either, and Evan's a huge surprise in the end. The money stacks high. Revenge Nation continued to dominate.
Revenge Nation just don't want me going out to Applebee's after this, man. It's gonna be too late. It's a shame.
No Dollaritas.
No, man, and they have a new one.
Do they really?
Yeah, man, it's called the Zombie. It's got a little gummy brain in it.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, and I'm gonna see all my friends, and they're gonna be having a great time. I'm gonna be here watching good Counter-Strike.
Rats.
Rats.
Tartar
Drat.
sauce. Fish paste.
Fish paste. That's good. Fluffy Aimers now, though, round after round showing us that they've got money enough to buy out. They had to sell their penthouse to get here, but over the top side of this smoke, it's the boost from Jason. Well enough timed as Evan going for a spam at E-Box makes himself an easy target. And the B bomb site's looking free for the taking. Will they even bother to go in for a retake with this without there being a kill? Uploaded the smoke, but nobody to expose themselves on the other side of it. Leaves Tabin now to hightail it back over to the A site. Sayonara. It's one who maybe would have been able to activate a flank in Horizon if there was any forward footing for these two to work with, but not quite.
I think they break the deadlock, punishing what has been another big problem factor for them in Lost, or Nightblade. Should probably ask him what he wants to go by. I assume if he's switching it up now on the HUD, I'm assuming he asked for it, right? But you know how things go with HLTV. Sometimes it takes a little bit for them to register. This changes. So I wonder if he's rocking with the loss nowadays. Either way. Good show. Maybe that's what it's named off of. Either way, Evan gonna be holding it down there. News gets aggressive. Trying to push past the smoke. We thought that melee was a little deeper, or maybe just hoped he could get away with something big. He gets punished. Sideswiped. You gotta figure out how to work within the confines of a 4v5. It's not been incredible for them since that point.
Evan with such a tight angle at E-Box, being able to find that kill just really keeps Fluffy Aimers without much else to do but to try and reclaim that lay of land, and done so well as Brat, and actually trying to dictate the next fight from Tabin, does so successfully, but even still able to come out on top of it. And Lost is just playing a back and forth game with the B main players who have already been flanked by Horizon. Forced to the front and through the smoke is Jason, and I'm not sure what this Revenge Nation team we're seeing right now is, but it's not one that I'm familiar with.
I'm impressed with it though, man. They're locking it down.
Oh yeah.
Again, Horizon. I feel like in every round you have some individual presence coming through from. There's like Magic and Tabit having some success with the op. But Horizon and Lost, like on the opposite sides of the map, are just dictating the pace. Now we got Magic getting aggressive early on off the setup. Trades split into a 2v3 now. A little aggression punish, but it's right back and forth, man. They get active all over the map on this CT side.
Oh,
and this op from Tabin is positioned nicely. And he will handle the pressure there. They react accordingly off the reactions of Fluffy Aimers, and they could go up 8-1 now.
forget could. They absolutely should. Jason, he's got the C4 though. If there is one thing that you can give him a silver lining to, it's that News gave him maybe room to work with on towards the other side of the map, and where there is will be no rotation quick enough, he can probably plant this bomb and then drop the molly if he so chooses, because he's clearing everything out before he does go in for the tap. Nobody close. He just shot his teammate. Evan just shot his teammate.
Same team. Same team. Gives over that sound cue as well as the one players that you have to worry about. I think he might be a little exposed to you. Not gonna matter.
Brother.
Walks in the bomb plant. Back's turned. He's surprised. And he's 6 HP. He gets the kill though. HE.
Bam.
And it's a dunk. It'll do. It'll do just nicely. I'll get the job done.
I can't really believe just how many bomb plant and post plant rounds there's been that they've been simply unable to convert. I mean, that one obviously not being a post plant, it's a clutch plant, but just pressing tab and looking at how many times they've gotten themselves into a bomb site in order to punch that code. Think back to the round where 4 were alive at Revenge Nation from a 4v5 retake against full guns. You mentioned that they were all on the red, sure, but that's not going to cut it. And now this far in, you're going to be feeling the resonating effects of being unable to accumulate those sorts of rounds. Money, yeah, that's good, that's cool. What are you going to do with that money, though? And Nightblade has just been a man on fire. Wolfie impression.
Just been so locked in. On the B side, Horizon on the other side of the map. There isn't a lot of good options. When Fluffy Aimers even find ground, it feels like there's a multi-kill coming their way. In return. Can't plant their feet. WP on the line. Mid convergence coming through. I believe a flashbang gonna set things up potentially, or just some straight aggression. Horizon looks to crunch on in. And that's a good reaction from Fluffy Aimers to set it up, but oh boy, there's aggression on the other end of the map, and Slump did not get the calm. At least not in time. Walks right back into the same fight. His teammate fell in. Happens a little close range with that AWP, so everyone rotating from camera here. They're going to make a quick move on in. No smoke down for camera, but that'll help out in securing a bomb plant at the very least. They're going to look to move past it. Lost trying to play around the smoke as well, and they find those opening duels. It's another post plant shattered by Revenge Nation as they make another retake happen, and they make it look easy.
They do, and it's honestly getting to be such an awkward state of affairs for a team that was so fluid on their attack in the last. Vertigo looked to be a beautiful assembly of plays from the Fluffy Aimers across the board, across the map. This one, it almost feels forced in many of these instances. And in that one in particular, it's like, yeah, you go for that bomb plant, right? I mean, you got players at least able to hold for you with the utility still up, but beyond that, there's no real room for you to make an incision onto a fight following that. It's almost as if in a 3v3 they would have been better off taking fights and awaiting the swings from Revenge Nation. Because once that one player becomes, oh my, that was an impact grenade, what the hell? But as I was saying, once that one player becomes incapacitated by virtue of having to punch in the code, it just makes it all the more difficult for them after the fact. He's not even got his gun out in time before everyone else had died. In a 4v3 now, they've got this player at the bottom side pincered, and we've seen Horizon walk through A main like 3 rounds in a row to flank B main. I think he's going to go through, and he has.
Nice swing right there. A little conviction on the peak, but Ryson's just as quick on the trade. That's a big pickup, though. A little relief offered up by Brett as he pushes past the smoke. The issue is, not only do they get flanked through E-Box, they're also getting flanked now through main as well. This is quick on the flank. So they managed to avoid it for now. Molly goes in towards the back of Pillar. They don't spot Brett, but it's another retake, man. Magic will close it out in the 2v2, and Fluffy Aimers cannot believe their eyes and the consistent pressure that they apply, but in these late rounds, in the clutches, every right step being made by Revenge Nation.
Speed running our way through this second map in similar fashion to how Fluffy Aimers looked to on Vertigo, with a little bit more to be seen from their opponents before it concluded. But right now, Revenge Nation, well, I mean, just, it's in the name, revenge. They want this map back. They want more. They want it all. They get it, and they get it. And News will be the one to give. A double kill, despite being blinded in the beginning, is over towards Ruggs. He'll eventually be dealt with, and not another round surely brought from the brink by the CT side. Tabin's speed on the off is going to have to be something to bewilder. This Horizon is left already having walked through A main, typically with a lot more going his way before that's the case, and they're going to have to read that situation just as well, as they actually don't fully commit into the A site because of it. They know that that's where he likes to play from.
Bomb has been planted.
Has to go in for this clutch, though. Wolfie on the other end, not leaving any stone unturned. That smoke is not a wall, and he knows that much. He was looking to elicit the peak from the player who had taken so many brazen maneuvers prior. Topping the half at 10-2, even so.
Handled there. Finally a post plant that goes their way. At the end of the day, just had to set up 2 rounds that they won that are just so strong that you can't lose in the post plant. If it was ever even, though, that's where Revenge Nation were going to take the cake, it felt like. Two rounds is just not a lot of runway here. Revenge Nation on the defense, they had to come through with some good ideas. They had to come through with a much better look than what they've shown us in the past versus some of the tougher rosters on this map, and they have answered that call in a big way. Established game plan, now into the T side with a quick execution. That's going to line up towards the A side. Utility already inbound, plant already starting, and now we'll see if they can hold in the post or if it's more of the same here in favor of Revenge Nation as we hop into the late round here. Pistol re-aggro is going to be caught. It's well handled from Brett and Slump, who do send him packing. But now this A main play in return It's smart from Lost and Tabin. They will take that space on back there, knowing that they need to. Bomb is planted for A main as well. Is no kit. There's a quick kill. Lost, can he show up clutch? He might have just done it. He gets the player off the bomb. Brett starts to chase him down, but again, there's no kit. He's got to find the kill quick. He runs out of ammo. Knife is out. He gets the knife kill, but there's no time to defuse. Lost has done enough, and again, they show up in a clutch.
Terrorists win.
I wonder what the tensions are like in the Fluffy Aimers camp right now. I wonder how they're feeling to where losing a game like, or a map like this is obviously a sting, right? But I mean, it's kind of lighten the blow just a little bit knowing that you are a map up and have another chance and a shot on a map that you definitely have played. Definitely not a chance. I'd say even more than just a chance, even better at it. So, I don't know. At this point, after losing a pistol round in that nature at this far back, I'm not saying say die, I'm not saying give it all and call it quits, but, you know, just maybe set your sights on that third map at this point. No, you're not done.
So they're just gonna call it a save at the end of the day. Get away with what they can. Bail out. It's got the A1S that he really would like to hold on to. Making that escape a bit risky, but he gets out of dodge. And 12 locked in, as you said. I think he... I'm certainly setting your sights elsewhere. This one looking a little bit one-sided. It's tough to say, though, right? Because I feel like at some point it almost becomes comical, the amount of post plants that fell. You know, right? At some point, you know, you lose a couple, two or three close rounds. It's frustrating. You lose like 5 or 6 even post plants on Anubis, and you just start to laugh it off, I feel like. So that's all you can do. Revenge Nation have had the right answers. Had the right players. Ready to go. With all the right moves.
Great players.
Better pizza.
Pizza, better... I was thinking that same I mean, you know what I was
I knew
actually
where you were
referencing,
going.
but I was actually going to say better pizza. That's great. I'm thinking about ordering some Papa John's, too. We'll see how long I have until I can actually get around to doing that, though, because with absolute speed and swiftness, it's a swing into the B site to where the money needed to be utilized to the best of their abilities. Fluffy Aimers to have a shot into Anubis and a kill found, and on the bomb, needing somebody to cover him as the burning is actually going to catch the legs, and around the other side, it's slumped to deal damage even further beyond, and a Brett clutch, a 1v2, doable, but now needing to get in and hold an angle, a line for the bomb that's still center sight is smoked across it, but Evan and Tabin not out of this neck of the woods just yet. A kit, should it go down, we'll be able to get around. And that Molotov, it will stop him from going any wider, but he might be able to make his way over the top side of this break. But burn, sound cue heard, the spread betrays, and Brett, more likely than not, with that sound cue given over, going to be swept aside for the Revenge Nation third map forced.
Well handled. Gotta be closing that one out. What a complete turnaround. Individuals showing up on Vertigo here for Fluffy Aimers is a terrifying start to the series, but Revenge Nation not ready to give up on the series, not fearing the individuals on the other end of the server, and they show what they're made of. They show why they picked into this map despite, you know, potentially being a bit uncomfortable with it long term. I mean, Anubis just looked so incredibly clean. Horizon and Lost look just incredible as a duo, and I am incredibly impressed with the resiliency from the squad.
Yeah, I am as well. I think that they've shown that they have the longevity to be able to go into a map 3, into an Ancient, and be able to give us maybe a little bit more than we had bargained for following the finish of Vertigo. But until we do get to that point, until we do find ourselves on the green scene, we will be taking yet another 10-minute or so break. So don't go anywhere. Exner and I ready to finish this one out just as well as these two teams are on our finale in just a bit.
Tired of boring case openings? Do you always get only cheap skins? The Hellcase website has tons of options to upgrade your inventory. It's up to you to participate in giveaways, events, or compete with other players in opening cases. Hellcase, your world of expensive skins.
Do you have any unnecessary skins or want to sell them? Try Skin Place. Visit the website, select the skins you want to use. Easily fill your Steam trade link. Make sure we offer good prices and choose a payment method. Hit the button and boom, instant cash. Safety. Low commissions. Instant payouts. Skin Place.
Skin Place launching an event with a total prize pool of $10,000 in honor of our first anniversary. Just sell skins, claim daily bonuses, complete missions, visit the shop, and participate in the main giveaway with popular skins and a powerful PC. Follow our social media to not miss.
Hey, Exner. What do you get when you cross an ECL team with a map that's very, very T-sided, and on the other side of things is another ECL team? What do you get?
Third map?
You get a third map.
Yes.
You get a finisher to this series in where, frankly, Revenge Nation and Fluffy Aimers trading blows like the classic Goku and Vegeta where they're trading fists right to each other's cheeks, man. These guys are not giving up.
Yeah, the question is who comes out the other end tougher, stronger in this decider? That's going to be the big question. Again, no second chances here as well, so the opportunity to lock in a deeper run here at playoffs, you know, take on Timmerman, who, despite looking very good, are in kind of a weaker state in general. There's a lot of promising chances for Revenge Nation to get a big upset victory after what they just showed, man. If they can at all develop some of that success onto this third map, man, they're in for a good sign here, because it feels replicable, man. It felt like they were able to dominate the server, came in with a clear game plan, they got away with everything they were hoping for, and you could imagine that they knew this was going to be a decider as well.
Yeah, and I think just looking back, it was Nightblade, dude. Again and again and again on that CT side to be getting us into these positions where they weren't even allowed to get away with the bomb plant before losing a body. And I'm not even talking about in terms of just finding opening picks. I'm talking about it doesn't matter what the stance was, 4v4, 5v4, 4v5. It was just always Nightblade getting up into the action as the C4 was being punched in and being able to find 1, 2, in some instances even 3 kills before they'd even gotten a chance to move out, which is absolutely absurd. And going into the stretch of the T side, he didn't have to lift a finger, but even still, he and Tabin were just clapping down with SMGs onto that B site. They wanted no time to waste before they headed into that final and finisher, as they've got some, you know, reps under their belt on Ancient. Even still, I would say certainly a lot more even of an affair than either of our previous 2 maps are going to be in terms of what I'm coming to expect. The recent history, it's a lot of really high echelon level teams that they've both been playing up against, namely Liquid and Legacy for the side of the Fluffy Aimers, and Legacy again, but most recently Nouns for Revenge Nation, both of which these teams have not been able to claim a victory over any of those named, although Fluffy Aimers were getting damn near close. A 10-13 loss against Legacy, a 10-13 loss against Liquid, and an 8-13 loss additionally against Liquid on that same map, in a series that they actually ended up going in pretty deep for a best of 3, where Liquid eventually won the both of them, but even so, a crazy string of rounds to be able to pull through against the top tier team.
I got high expectations. I mean, this is very comfortable. This is a very comfortable map here for Fluffy Aimers, that they've been able to pull off some big wins in the past. They've shown their stuff. They've shown what they can do. A noob
I love
is
knife rounds.
a little less so, but yeah, me too. I'm a big fan. A little less so now that I don't have a knife though anymore.
Why don't you have a knife?
Sold it.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. At some point it got so high I was like, I gotta sell these pixels, man.
What was it, just going up and up and up?
I bought it for, so this is
Okay.
just a little warning.
Okay.
This
trigger
is
warning.
a flex. I did win season 36 of IM.
I remember that.
And with that winnings, I bought a knife. Because I just had money in PayPal, didn't want to transfer it over, just locked in a knife. You know,
How
I felt
much?
like I could reinvest into my CS style. I bought a bayonet fade. Eventually traded it for a M9 Doppler, which was like a plus 200 trade. And then at that time, it was worth around like $400, $500, I think. It shot up in CS2 to around like
My God.
$1,400. So at that point, I just was like, I gotta sell this. This is just worth too much. And since then, I've been wanting to like buy another knife, just something cheap, but cool. But like every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to spend the money on a couple pixels on my screen until.
Yeah. I don't really buy skins, so.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one day when I've got disposable income like that, where I'm not spending it on like food.
I keep getting called a cheater in matchmaking though, because my inventory is just
You
so
are, though,
bad. Because, you know, I have no inventory. That means that you cheat, because I guess that's what people think.
Yeah, well, jumping into this one, we see that there's no P250 skin for Slump, so what does that tell you?
There you go. It's confirmed. Do 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 do.
Oh, but maybe not.
Well, the Illuminati, they're running out of temple right
firm
now.
enough.
They're chasing this one down. Jason gonna find out some more success towards the middle. So at least they got some hands in this retake here. Another quick kill. Can they do it again? Can they continue to pull off
down.
such difficult retakes here? Head is down. The dual Berettas chew through.
No!
He can't afford a reload. He can't afford a reload. He doesn't have the time, but he does have a second weapon as an option. He had 9 seconds on that defuse. He just needed a 10th. Otherwise, Fluffy Aimers could have started this one off in a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, they get it off, though, with Wolfie being able to find the 4K. Effectively, that 1 versus 3 being brought in to where he had almost let it slip. No kit for Revenge Nation. If there was one, it was long diffused by that point, but not to be now. I believe that smoke is for the cave entrance, if I'm not mistaken. Looks to be the case. As it's fallen just inside now. Quickly, SMG flooding up and in. Just trying to get that room given over to him with utility after utility bit. Giving them no contest from Revenge Nation, who haven't been forced into this round in the slightest. The only thing that they've gotten in their arsenal is a single Zeus. See what they can do with that much. Is Evans the one to hold on to? It looks like he's over at Cave, and he might be given the chance. In just a few moments, you're going to see, I believe, Slump walk past him into his... No, it's not Slump. Who is it? News who would have walked past, but nope. He instead turns around and about. Helps out with the ramp push. And a united effort to be able to get themselves some cash money.
Cha-ching. A little bit of change. Good way to start things off. I think 100% there needs to be early activation here for the set of Fluffy Aimers to breathe a little bit of life into them. Really frustrating sequences on Anubis, losing post plants, struggling to just trade and letting multi-kills flow. This defense in that last map. To avoid that, you got to have some players activate here, some individuals online, hitting shots back in return. Trying to get those multi-kills there. Back is going to be magic. It's limited to 1 and some change instead. Evan quick on the trade and the other end of things. And 3v4 on towards this bomb site, though, with 3v2. Looking to take some initiative. Flanks coming through. I mean, they've got this one bottled up, it feels like, at this point. They're going to have this flank from Cave. News now in a bit of an awkward spot. They're still clearing it out. Look at the diligence. They identify and understand the vulnerabilities, and poor Slump is back to a wall now.
Slumped down in just a moment. He might slip down that ramp and the 1 versus 4 to where they're going to be giving him jiggles. He is going to be able to find a pair of frags with 65 HP left to go. Ammo enough in the clip to where he might be able to ice it and get another duel. If he had gotten a reload off in that moment, there might have been a world where Tabin goes down just alongside a lineup into where he's already left the 44. The Fluffy Aimers are being given at least room enough to get a worthwhile investment following what's effectively some sort of a bonus, and leaving Revenge Nation's money in the bin.
Goes down swinging in a big way. Impressive from Slump. That's why he's really good with the rifles as well. I feel like that also is a promising part about his game. See, he is locked in with these rifles. This time, though, a lot of resistance towards middle. They leave B a little bit weak, so that Tabin can hold off that A side, and that's a T side molly, so you gotta respect it. You can't run past it. And the resistance gonna be here and online. We'll see how much of a hold Tabin can provide now that the execution's going his way. Utility out and abound. He's sitting in the flames, though, and he's gonna have to duck out. Got a flank watch. They got the entry. They got everything they could ask for here at the moment, except for donut control here. Left vulnerable. The bomb gets denied, and these are how rounds start to fall to pieces. Now, Wolfie, his attention has to split. He's getting extra help coming through from News just in time. Will stabilize the round a little. Looking for the double swing in towards Evan as well, and they plant the feet, plant the flag. Get that spam back in return, so now Tabin's position confirmed, and so should the round.
Tabin long out of there now. Doesn't want to give it any more. Time to bounce. Time to count a mile allowance. Tabin saving onto this A1S. Money enough to work with for a buy? Not quite sure. As that one was already them kind of digging deep.
Terrorists win.
Fluffy Aimers stretching out what we had come to expect from them following their vertigo, as mentioned in Anubis, which was very much so missing in stark contrast. This time looking much more awake. I like to see that even without the AWP, pretty much across this game, Slump has been able to find himself as an impact factor for them. Not a liability without it. It's not always the easiest thing to keep focus of when you are an opper. But him being so young, I guess moldable and malleable to where a majority of his time playing the game must have been wielding the AK-47 for long enough to where he'll always be a threat. And he actually just got boosted for a long peak that would have otherwise been pulled out with an off. Uh-oh.
Some damage being done with the pistols. What?
And okay.
USPs dominate on the site. The CZs will show up, and is right. That's about all you can say at the end of it.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna choose to forget that round as opposed to break it down.
Yeah, well, you
Frankly, a
see,
little disappointing.
what happened was...
See, what happened was we knew we were playing up against pistols, but forgot to Molotov out cave. Instead, we went dry alone for fun.
Counterpoint. Sport. Take that.
Counterpoint? Nuh-uh.
Only known counter. As they make their way out, there you go. There's some quick recovery. And maybe it's a round that Fluffy Aimers can choose to forget as well. Straight onto the bomb site. Can regain control fairly quickly if they close this one out. Ooh, that was looking good from Wolfie. Going for the timing on the spam. Not able to collect the kill just yet, but sure will put the pressure on. They're sticking around like they want to give this retake a go, but I know how this one's going to go. They like to fake us out there, put on a little show, but they are retreating are running away. Jason being hurt in towards middle. Give him a little peek-see, but holding onto your guns is much more valuable than taking away the T's. Jason's got to figure out what he wants to do to get out of this one. He should be good in spawn, though. They have
When in
it.
doubt, pop out.
Magic, man. That window's so cool. Canadian, though. So, whatever's going on in the background, it is in Canada, you'd imagine. For whatever opinions you have on Canada.
I was going to say, what's that supposed to mean?
I mean, I don't know if you're pro or con.
You don't know if I'm pro or
Pro.
anti-Canada?
Yeah, pro or anti, that's the word.
I will decidedly say I am pro-Canada.
Nice.
I am pro-Canada. I was given one of the best casting opportunities that my career, definitely the best casting opportunity in the world that I've had so far by a Canadian. So he's, given me a pretty good impression of the country. Launders, that man being.
In the 6. I think that's what they call it.
With their woes. Because they've got some that they need to address right now over at the A site, where they're still giving vision over to Tabin's AWP, even behind the molly, not deep enough to where he's going to be forced off of the angle. A double. And out. Where, yeah, sure, some of these quick and speedy little rounds running it up and in look great.
Ugh.
It doesn't really look all that great when Revenge Nation have, more than one player ready and waiting for it. So the A site may be time to take some time off from that direction.
Or give it one more go. See if they don't expect it again.
The good old college try.
Yeah, just keep on working it. See how Revenge Nation react to those plays. Imagine they'll just continue to offer up resistance on that side of the map, but sometimes you overthink it as a roster that's a bit of an underdog in this matchup. You go back to thinking the opponent's going to adjust. It's a mind game here that I think Brett would like to wrap his mind around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably want to switch things up at this point with the amount of resistance they're running into.
What role did you play when you were when you won that season of ESEA?
I was op IGL, but hardly opping. I was mostly like, the sort of like, okay, we have 11k, I'll buy an op.
Like a CT op?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would say more so CT op.
I did that for a season. It was pretty cool.
But even then, like, I didn't prioritize it pretty heavy. I'd like to at some point. I think it'd be fun to do nothing but op in it,
That's where I'm at too, yeah.
The issue is every time I play and practice and stuff, it's like, I guess with some of the teams I've played with in the past, the oppers kind of like, you just like, whoever needs it, whoever's doing bad picks up the op, and it's like, oh, then you can't do it.
Hey, that's me. It's like that Leonardo DiCaprio. Hey.
It's me you're talking about.
That's literally me. This time, though, not doing bad with the AWP are either Tabin or Slump. Especially not in this map for Tabin's sake, because he needs to be able to find himself the top side of the board, pushing back what was already a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of the round count. 8 and 3. He's looking to push himself even further beyond that and beyond his limits right now as Nightblade back into form and what we had seen over on Anubis with a burst for the head removed and players spotted it mid and shelf just the same.
Just got nothing to work with right now in the map control. Gonna try their luck. This is a nice little jump spot. There you go. Information, I guess. Sure. Gonna set them up for a double up in cave. Horizon can get some sort of pixels on that ramp hold as well. As you can see, he's kind of covering, and they've got extra resources. 4 players now. No real utility to crack through. It just has to be kills. How?
Oh
How
my
did
gosh.
they make it look so easy? That is ridiculous. What is that? They just ran it down into a bomb site without any smokes and 4 defenders available. And they come out the better end.
I mentioned Tabin in the beginning of this round as one of the more consistent factors for them here on Ancient. And, if he's not really being given the opportunity to have that level of impact, it's not even that he needed to rotate quick, it's him being left over at the A site, and common tradition to be able to zone it all off on his own is where he had been before, and it's such great success. Why not give him that responsibility? And when everything else collapses around that game plan, it's not really to any fault of his. Maybe just needing to be a little bit more versatile with where they're allowing him or where he's opting to go if this was his call. One of the biggest issues I think that I've noticed teams have now that I've, as the last couple of months, entered coaching and analyst mode, been watching more demos, talking to more people about more about Counter-Strike, and obviously probably more analytical and casting just the same as a result. I think that one of the biggest issues I see teams have at higher to mid-levels trying to break into that next stage is the inability to use the AWP. I don't know if that's by virtue of the AWP player not having a voice. I don't know if it's by virtue of them not really feeling like aggressive players are the best for their style. And I also don't know if it's the in-game leader being a little bit limiting as to where they can play from and how they can maneuver around a round. But it's just something that I've noticed. A lot of teams just live and die on the fact that their AWPer is either just stuck in donut for 50 seconds and the round is over, or they're not going for anything in terms of maybe more brazen and bold peaks if they have a spawn for, say, a cave swing and post, or if a bottom B side ramp aggression from him and a teammate are available.
So I was pretty excited for this OG Wizard
Oh, yeah.
PA introduction, because I feel like he's calling his shots incredibly well. Okay. Alright, Horizon just takes 3 names down. And then again, we're seeing back to some of the crazy form from him. Locking down big multi-kills, giving Revenge Nation a platform. No op necessary, just gotta get those Moss kills there into the mix. And the round's already decided here, out of the gates. But, I mean, as I was saying before that crazy interruption, it just seems like, for me, watching some of these NA players, it doesn't seem like they are willing to put themselves in positions. Like, you got to call around yourself and trust in your read, your instincts, and if you find yourself posted up in the same spot for a whole half of Counter-Strike,
yeah,
very easy to avoid.
Oh my gourd.
It's Jason Bourne.
Oh my gourd. Holy, at this point, his sleeper code has been activated. He knows who he is. He might be the man to be able to put them on for a little bit of a clutch. He's gotten those 2 taps. Looking surgical. We'd seen the double kill in the entryway in the B site previous to give us a little bit of a look in, but now a preview put in to a full view as both Tabin and Lost are going to be making their way from the bottom side of the steps. It's the USP pulled from the AWPer playing bait, and this might be exactly what Jason needs. If their spacing is even a couple of feet off, he might have given himself room to do it. And although Jason might have gotten us to the bitter conclusion of a clutch that's just not going to be able to be pulled over the line, it's damn near close, and it's also done a hell of a lot of economic damage to the finances of Revenge Nation either way.
They locked themselves down a huge bit of damage there. I mean, again, in losing efforts, it's been, slumping around prior, and then now Jason, who just punches forward. So much damage. Revenge Nation, a much-needed timeout as they realize what they're up against. Serious business. If it wasn't for Horizon starting that round off so effectively, Jason getting away with those sort of moves could have been a whole lot worse. This timeout, I think, also necessary because now you're up against another handsome buy, as you can see. They got everything. I mean, not Mac 10 in for news, but in reverse, like tapping with an AWP, they got some rifles into the mix. They're not missing the utility, but they lose this round. It's right back to the drawing board, and Fluffy Aimers can really build up some foundation in the first.
Down mid, keeping heads low, ensuring that no stray flashbangs are going to catch them, but that doesn't account for any stray bullets, as through the smoke, one click of a button, and there's already a player lay limp. And hold on, Tabin back in for duels. He might be being tagged up, but he still wants the fights as he plays around the donut. It's a round and about chase in which they'll eventually get him done and through as we're entering the late stages of this first half, though. Do Evan and Nightblade decide to go in for this? Do they opt to put their money on the line and put their chances at buys further beyond in just as much of a question as he's already gotten the one-in refrag to a teammate, Op made known from Donut, but Utility at least going to be able to keep their vision pulled. Tucked tight, 2 ops, firing off only the one of them. He'll have no real idea as to whether they're going to be coming from one direction or another, but the bomb located, you may as well ping it like it's Valorant because they've got his line, and they've got yet another round to take into at least this half at a 6-4. What are you giggling at?
Being it like it's Valorant. you can just know where the bomb is, where you need to spam because
I
of
think
the
that's
ping.
so dumb. I actually don't like that at all.
It is, yeah, it's just that's the game.
That's
for
like
you.
that's like Valorante child game meme brought like to actuality.
Yeah, that's a funny feature. I think take all the fun out of the surprise, the suspense. There's a little bit of suspense here in this one. You can blow open those smokes, and you can get vision on the opposition
Holy crud.
slump. Just catching that B aggro. Great when he re-ups on the angle as well. Prepared for the idea that there's more around the corner. Not falling victim to these pistols. Quick trade is good as well, and Wolfie will just wait. Playing the finishing blow. Fluffy aimers deal with the force buy only to get the reward of playing up against another force buy.
Last round of reg. Technical timeout. Revenge Nation are looking a little bit dry right now. Not very liquid. In terms of the cash they have available. Just taking a look very quickly. We'll see that it was going to be a pause of the tactical variety being called by Fluffy Aimers to follow the tech. That might have been an accident, I'm not sure.
I think someone was, I think Tabin disconnected as well.
Okay.
Might have been a little combo effort right there.
No, yeah, just call me an idiot. Just call me
Well,
stupid.
I mean,
I mean,
a real ball knower would have known that. That's
damn,
okay, you just don't know ball.
he got me. I don't know Paul.
You're not following Tabin's legacy in this matchup.
Yeah, well, never mind.
My eyes are only focused on his player camera.
He looks like he's staring like deep into your soul. He's
Yeah, I
looking
like
down on
I like
you.
Evan. He's looking down on you, but it looks like he's gonna say "good job, sport" or something of that nature.
I like Horizons. Horizons looking at you. He's like, "What's up, guys? My name's James. I'm 19. I like to go to the beach and get shot by the op through the smoke."
He's just trying to get to the water as soon as possible. But unfortunately, he's met some resistance and magic. Okay, man, I thought he was so dead. I thought it was only a matter of time. But somehow he turns it into a kill. You got some gum he's chewing up there as well.
Made of pure
He
gold.
is. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, and I mean, Horizon is going to be getting to the water pretty quickly. It's the waters of T-spawn as we flip over this half.
Got the towel as well.
Yeah, he's, jeez, it's like he's got like a hot towelette.
Yeah. There's someone on Atox that had a towel every round that he, after he would lose, or I mean, win or lose, he would just start wiping his hands
Are
instantly.
these like sweaty gamer? I don't get sweat hand. I don't get that. Doesn't
I
happen.
know
to me.
people that do.
I know them too, but
But
yeah, I just don't
yeah,
understand the sensation. Is
I've
all.
never had it. Also, I see all of these players like fidgeting with hand warmers and stuff. I gotta figure out why that is.
I guess maybe
No matter what the
you-
climate is,
yeah.
like maybe it's cold in every single venue, but
helps calm your nerves if you're a little bit nervy.
yeah.
That helps me when I go to LAN. Even when I'm not cold, I use hand warmers because it keeps me a little bit more controlled.
Should just get a fidget spinner instead.
All right. Brett spams the smoke into where he can call upon the rest of the troops. And what in God's name is that? Slump, you can't do that. You're actually literally not allowed, and I'm going to have to go back to the rules in order to tell you, and that's the punishment you'll get. Quickly sent packing is the temple re-aggression from the both of them. Dual Berettas, though. Pair of them. 2 pairs of them. 1 successful enough, but no further beyond that as Nightblade's looking like his old self, and Jason's got his back exposed to the sight, but not for much longer. It's magic he's got to be more worried about right in front to deliver the killing blow, and a Revenge Nation 8-5, where they can get maybe their opponents just a little bit worried as to a comeback and its potential.
Do you take joy every time you see a pair of dual Berettas just get knocked out of the round like that?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. Do I what?
Do you take joy when you see a
Oh,
pair of
yeah.
dual Berettas just get knocked out like that?
Yes, I do. I see them do nothing, and I'm like, yes, yes, yes!
Did you just hop on that train early? You were like, okay, why are people buying the dualies? And then you never got off.
No, I just don't like them being a part of the meta, frankly.
Okay. It's fair.
I think they have a place in Counter-Strike. I just don't like the fact that it's, like,
Necessary?
almost necessary to have 2 of them
Yeah.
on every CT pistol.
I get that, actually. I feel that.
I don't know.
I think it is necessary, to be honest with you. I think you're kind of trolling on the CT side.
I wish they
if
were a
you're not
little
buying
more
dual Berettas.
expensive. I think they were. I wish they were a little more expensive. I wish there was more risk to buying them to where you couldn't just also
it
get
used
a
to be
smoke, and
500.
a flash, and a flash or something. Yeah.
But you can buy 2 sets of dual Berettas and a flashbang.
And 2 flashbangs, you mean?
Not on the pistol.
Well, if you buy 2 pairs. Well,
Oh,
okay,
I see
that's
what you mean.
one player
Yeah.
buying them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
One player could buy. I mean, that's usually what the leader does. Just toss a couple dual Berettas, give it 1 flashbang.
I want there to be more stakes to buying it. I wanted it to be like a circumstance, like a call you can make, and not like a given.
Yeah.
That I find to be a little bit more like the UMP meta, where you could just use it as a rifle. But right now, it's not going to be a determining factor in that previous round, so my crying and moaning isn't going to really amount to much, although it's fluffy aimers who are going to be left crying as they're unable to get back to the site before they've gotten everyone befallen for them. And Jason, he will be able to line up at first before the bomb is planted. HP enough and comfortable in his stance to be able to walk up through long, and he's been so calm, so ready for every one of these fights, and he's had maybe 3 times now he's been given up a clutch to where he looks like that final kill is his, but the hurdle too high, he'll fumble and fall, and fluffy aimers will once again find themselves within 1 of the bridge gap for Revenge Nation.
There's 2 such promising rounds here for Jason. Comes so close to the finish line and just gets broken down. Both opportunities ripped away from him. These attempts, and now this one a 1v3, the last one a 1v4, that felt completely impossible. Makes it possible with that resiliency he's showing, but still feels, I think, a little frustrating when you can't get it done. That's the first gun round sideswiped by a fast B call, just full speed ahead. Holding nothing back, and we're potentially looking at a tied up 8-8 scoreline here. They can get past this half by. And Revenge Nation plant their feet right back into this series, try and lock themselves in even past that point.
I want to see something absurd right now. Fluffy aimers leaving Slump to his own devices today to make his own call, and on the timing, 50 seconds having gone by, he'd have to be a crazy man to think that anybody was still sticking around in the close corner in Cubby. The execution is still yet to even be made known. Down through B steps, no flashbang. Yeah, that's an easy mop up. He can hold mouse 1 without much of an issue, knowing he's got teammates to his left and right sides. Call it a done deal.
The nade even landed on news as well, just giving over a sound cue that there's certainly more around the corner. Slump pulling through on this big flank though. Don't know how much impact it's going to have. 1 quick kill, but the move already being made elsewhere. AK retrieved is nice. I still think they're not going to give this much more of a go, though, at this point. Might look to contain, look to find a quick kill. They can do that. Could be more interesting. There's a trade at the very least. Donut control could be established, but there's a really wise reposition now to reclaim that. And as soon as you start the conversation, Horizon looks to put an end to it. Magic will do just that with 2 quick kills there. Catching
away.
Jason. Knows how to have his number and continues to call upon it.
For 3. Bang, bang. Yeah, I might not know ball, but I know a drainer when I see one. Now I'm going to learn ball. I'm going to come back a better me than I ever was before.
Study the craft.
Yeah. Double up set up in the last map, I believe, or not the last map, excuse me, in the last half, I believe, coming out from Revenge Nation. We'd seen that for 1 round. That or it was just an op picked up off the dead body of one of the T-sided players. I want to see if Fluffy Aimers want to invest in a similar purchase, if that were the case in the first place, because Slump, he hasn't really yet been given all that much opportunity, but okay. Don't really actually need him to be doing all that much when the Riflers are able to hold it like they have. I think for this series, before this map, looking back at Vertigo primarily, it was the talking point that I had made in the post-show that, you know, Slump not really needing to find himself at the top side of the board. Yeah, that's all well and good on Vertigo, but on Ancient, where you can get more active on both CT and T sides with the weapon, that was one of the biggest talking points that we weren't having to say about Tabin. Will the same be true for Slump so far? I'd say yes.
Trying to find a way to get active here. Gonna late play towards this A side through Temple. You'd imagine Tabin would like to have a scope on that, but instead walks into the scope of Slump with his patience paying off. Lets the play come to him, lets his riflers push past the smoke. Fluffy Aimers in their second gun round hold steady. A lot better than the early phases. Now, again, coming into this round with a lot more tools to succeed as well. I think that's a key difference. A lot more utility to keep them at bay early, win those opening fights, take map control for Fluffy Aimers, and now they're going to have that consistently as long as they don't lose. And you're going to have to see Revenge Nation come up with something creative. Try and get back into things here. Now Slump's on the other side of the map. This is a bit of a reaction here, a difference in position. Run things off in towards that B lane, hoping for a contact play. That's not given.
I want to see the use of this SMG. I want to know what Magic's idea is. If I'm not mistaken, for the longest time he's been the caller for this team. Tell me if I am wrong, you might know. Or just don't talk to me. No, that's cool. I like being here with the co-caster, probably. Magic being the first one to head into the donut with the attention taken deep from a rifle, though, that's nice. Unlike Exner.
Keep it up. Oh boy, this smoke push from News. It's gonna keep them in this round at least. 4v4. Flashbang through the smoke goes wild. I think that he blinded them. Lineup though will offer up some relief here. News getting them quickly back into this one with another double up here. Finding 3 in the round. He had the crosshair on location. Bomb gonna be stuck. He needs to trust his teammates.
He's got the nuts
to deliver. And there's just a late spam coming through. He sticks the bomb all the way in. And even Slump finds the finishing blow. The clutch will be denied. Fluffy Aimers will lock themselves in double digits by just the heroics coming through from News and a op shot that you can trust from Slump.
To the distance, soon to be made 3 if history repeats itself to where there's nothing really to work with right now from Revenge Nation. A pop is all they'll be able to go for, and a late smoke to one of the 2 extremity angles on the left side, the right side of the site, which won't even be able to be pulled before everyone else has collapsed around Evan, and the smoke is to little solace, going to be able to give him any cover from that point forward with all 5 soon encroaching on his position, and encroaching now upon series point with 1 more to go before then, and 1 more buy before Revenge Nation find themselves once again nearing $0 and nearing an elimination from the round of 16 here in CCT Season 2 Series 3 North America. This is AK-47s for everybody. Everybody gets what they need. Can they put it to good enough use? Oh my god, Jason. Oh my god. Jason blinded with a dink and a stray to follow up into the shoulder of the first, and maybe an escape plan made. No Molly on the other end. Doesn't want to burn out, but tapping one bullet. One bullet sneeze on him, and he'll find himself floating down the river of sticks.
Achoo! You did it, finally. Brett is there to respond, and he needs much more than just a gust of wind to take him down here. He holds strong. Just lost left standing. Wonder what on earth just happened to his team. Brett, a double. Jason, a double. Jason picking up the mantle big time in this third map. A quick kill to close for Wolfie to cap it off. Fluffy aimers locking themselves in. It's going to be a good opportunity. 4 chances now to close out this series and bring it home for Fluffy aimers for a date versus Timberman.
Who's paying?
I guess whoever wins, right? Because then they're the ones with the more money.
Well, that's true. You don't think they would split the bill evenly?
They could. Depends on.
You have to think because Timberman are the ones that are there.
What they ordered, right?
Yeah. Timberman were the ones who asked them, technically, because they're there already, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's only fair that they do. Be the responsible and respectful thing to do, but, well. 4 rounds between these two teams with Revenge Nation looking to put everything together that they have to throw the kitchen sink at Fluffy aimers, but will it be enough? As you can see, no op here posted and ready, and honestly, no rifles really fully prepared for what's to come their way either, as they've gotten themselves pretty far into the site with a flashbang to go along with it. It's Newswood lined up, but killing so much damage to go along after the fact, but yet to plant. A man down with Molotovs not available onto this site yet to deny them at the default position. It's Brett who has one.
Oh.
It's Limp who's got another, and it's through the smoke in which Tavin has given them a lifeline.
That's massive right there. Now that's a 3v3 that they desperately needed. Flashbang, beautiful to Ria Grassman, taking that action and making the plays here. Slump now looks to close out a clutch up against a MAC-10. He can't close the distance though. And there is just enough health, 5 HP left on Horizon to save Revenge Nation in this map and in this series. How much more fight do they have left in him? Getting past a 3v4 like that, holding on to a post plant. That's a massive relief. Can they get 3 more in a row, though? I mean, this one would do enough to shatter and force a little fear into Fluffy aimers. Feel like they get past this round, they get past a lot of the hard work. Said and done. This should be heard. They spot out News. They jump forward, but News still collects the kill. That's a crazy trade from Evan, though. Mouse one through the smoke for the kill. Jason looks to follow. Oh, and Jason will not give him it. I thought maybe that shadow was going to create a lot of discomfort there and maybe give over the game. The alarm bell for Evan to react, but he doesn't get the notice in time. Now they got to rely on just a solo Brett. An opportunity to actually surprise here. If you think that donut is clear, and that is not the case, so a communication breakdown now opens up the round, opens up an opportunity. Another kill on a silver platter for Tabin walking through the smoke. 2 kills blindsiding this defense. They are showing their resilience. They got to bring the bomb over, though. That's a big problem. And in doing so, a missed top shot from Slump. Finally folds on the line. Goes for a repeat, though, and looks to save him. Can he do it? Not quite. As Horizon and Magic will keep them contained. And Revenge Nation not ready to give up on this one just yet. That's a huge recovery.
Another one where Horizon is able to find himself at the ends of the round, able to help in their pullover. 2 rounds to go, and what honestly, I feel like is not only doable, but I'm slowly becoming a believer. Slowly but surely, is the distance being as tight as it is, I have to kind of choose now if I believe in an overtime or not. As this round is going to be what I would hope to be a clean sweep. It's Banana called clear, no one audibly on the other side of the B doors, and they've got no flashbangs, no smokes, no nades to make any sort of gimmick plays right now, Exner. It's going to have to be them just getting right up in the faces of their opponents with weapons less ideal to any they would have had otherwise, as it's been budgeted, the sniper rifle in this purchase. It's been kept in the game plan, but what too can they do in a round such as this where Revenge Nation might actually just blindly walk into the stack with no recon over at B?
Nothing defaulting here. I mean, at least taking this mid control is a nice step around. Oh, but Wolfie works an angle, catches Util out. No way, a flashbang comes through as well. Evan barely survives. Mirage there, that is Wolfie, but swinging into the angle. News gets a little over eager. And again, a 3v4 that they had a big advantage in there for Fluffy Aimers is leveled out into a 3v3. Consistently making some of these mistakes here, and Slump gonna walk just the same. Rewarded for their patience. Now, Fluffy Aimers fallen victim to the greed, the allure of the finish line. Jason now put to the task of holding off. AWP is low. Flush him out of position. Tavin will clear it with conviction. Brett with an MP9. Have a tough job at hand. Smoke on location, perfectly placed. And Brett can't start the clutch. It's going to go the distance here, 24.
And they go with one more shot. One last go. We've seen so much in the way of pushback from Revenge Nation here, to where if they were to drop themselves at the end, if they were to let slip of all of this effort, it'd be so difficult to think about later to come. But look at the fact that Fluffy Gamers have one smoke left to their name. Where do you even begin to think about using it? Do you even think about using it at all? Has it been communicated that that's the last piece of utility that they have left? No, it has not, because it's been sent down to the bottom of the B steps. Right now, I think we're going to need to see a gamble stack, maybe even.
Gotta lock that in. Starting to bring in some extra resistance. You do start to question, with the couple of advantages that have slipped out of the hands so quickly for Fluffy Gamers. Are they hitting a wall, mental hurdle, or is this the time in which they shut things down? Setup. You can imagine a flashbang going to come around that corner. It is. Throws the aim off for a second, but this high-low setup is good to do damage. See if the trade's favorite as Wolfie finds the last kill he needs to keep Cave contained. Picks up that extra gun. Dropped by his teammate here and looking to close it. New guy on trial gives him 3 and a lot of extra damage to secure the victory in regulation. And Fluffy Aimers will be moving on into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, they will be sliding in on through even at the end of regulation. As I said, it would have hurt probably pretty bad for RN to let it fall in that manner. And when it does, it's got to feel all the more sweet for the side of the Fluffy Aimers. And where Jason hasn't been exactly a superstar in this series, it's in that map where he comes alive when he needs to most, and same goes for Slump. Those two, as middling of the pack for the first 2 maps, find themselves getting all the impact required. As Wolfie continues his reign, it is a wonderfully cobbled together finish to a best of 3 that looked like Fluffy Aimers off the rip had it in their back pocket. Revenge Nation flipping the script on its head and keeping themselves in good standing with a 13-2 slap and snap back. It's ancient that I said that I expected to be the tightest of the 3, and it proves to be just that. Through and through, it felt like that there was always something being offered up by one of these 2 teams to give us a different look into it.
Got a good sign there rolling out that, Revenge Nation put up that much of a fight versus a team that still, I think, is very strong. It felt like they developed a good game plan for Anubis, specifically for what was being made on the side of Fluffy Gamers. You know, being able to break down some of the simple calls that they like to get away with here. But again, Fluffy Aimers still trying to figure out what this roster is going to be long term. Being able to get victories here and move deeper into playoffs is their goal. They accomplished that goal with the victory tonight.
Yeah, and they find themselves up against the Timbermen, you had said. That's going to be a pretty big task for them just the same. I think that Revenge Nation might be like a precursor to what will be one of the more difficult best of threes they'll have to go through. Their map pick, it looked good enough. The finisher looked a little bit tight. Could have gone to overtime. Wasn't going to be a victory for the opponent, but nevertheless, if they are going to go all three with the Timbermen, they can expect a little bit more pushback, having them seen already beaten the Izolos Laser squad, which was probably one of the favorites for this tournament in the top 4, I would say, if they didn't have to meet up with the Timbermen in the quarterfinals, or rather, excuse me, in the round of 16. So now, with the bracket pretty much settled and squared with only 2 left to be found, Legacy Lore, Aether versus Nouns, we've got a pretty solid shape up for what these quarterfinals are going to be. I said it the other day, they're going to be a pretty fun set of them. The semifinals even more so, and the finals are going to have to be just as cracking.
I mean, I think, you know, this matchup here, for me at least, was like the biggest opportunity for an upset, in my opinion. Maybe the PA Undefined game as well could have been interesting, but, you know, we talked about Undefined's changes, but Revenge Nation show us that it definitely was the case. They're nearly the roster that can pull off the big upset. They're nearly the team that can set the big surprise, and, you know, credit to them for showing up and really doing some damage versus a roster that I like quite a bit, and very impressed with them. Hope to see them kind of rise a little bit more into ECL as well as they look to, you know, finish out their season. But yeah, man, those quarterfinals are going to be electric. I feel like we're already starting to line up with what tomorrow is going to be pretty exciting, you know, to close out the round of 16. But then setting your sights on those quarterfinals, you're seeing some huge clashes of rosters playing up against each other.
Yeah, and speaking of closing out, it's closing out the day for us as well. You and me, Exner, have given it a good go, a good look in what has now been the conclusion found, the happy ending, I'll say, for what could have been a much more disappointing one for Fluffy Aimers as they do move themselves that one step further. GG's to both teams, and we look forward to seeing both Fluffy Aimers into the playoffs, and then hopefully, or at least more likely than not, Revenge Nation back for the next series of CCT North America. It will be a goodbye from us, a good evening, morning, noon, night, wherever you may be tuning in from until we meet each other next. It's been a blast, as it will be CCT production also. You know, shout out to you guys. You've done a great job. We'll see you in the next one.
You look into your inventory and there's only... It's time to forget about this garbage. Here you will find everything to play with really cool skins. Open top cases. Upgrade dropped skins and turn your junk into a cool gun using the contract system. Every day, thousands of people upgrade their inventory with us. Hellcase.com. Look at yourself in a new way.